Good morning, or afternoon, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are watching this. So today I wanted to talk about flavour notes, and sort of dissecting where flavour notes come from, how we get there, and actually how subjective flavour notes are. Because on pretty much every bag of coffee that you see out there these days, they will all have flavour notes of some kind, even the ones on supermarket shelves, on the highest end of speciality, everyone will have flavour notes on their coffees. Now, first of all, when we're talking flavour notes about coffee, 99% of the time, this is just the true flavour notes of the coffee. There's nothing being added into it. It's not like those stalls that you see at the Christmas market, those novelty coffee stalls where it's like whiskey or Bailey's flavoured coffee or mint choc chip flavoured coffee, which sounds horrendous. This is just the true origin characteristics of the coffee, and generally they can be quite subjective because everybody tastes different things. If you had a room of, let's say, 6 professional coffee tasters cupping and tasting the same coffee and scoring it, they might all get different flavour notes for the same coffee. They'll generally all be in the same ballpark, so you might get everybody with some variety of dried fruits. You might get some saying prunes, some raisins, some sort of dried fig, but they will generally be in the same ballpark, but might have different actual attributes of that flavour note. So things to look for when you're buying a coffee. Flavour notes is a really good indicator of the sort of quality of the coffee. So if you looked at an Ethiopian and you saw it had tea-like, jasmine and honeysuckle, you know from that it's going to be quite a light coffee. It's not going to be strong, it's not going to be too bold, it's going to be quite delicate in the cup as well. But if you wanted a stronger, more bold coffee, you might find a Colombian or a Brazilian with notes of dark cocoa, bittersweet caramel sort of flavour notes like that. The high wire is quite a good example. So our high wire blend, you get flavour notes of caramel, spice and roast almond. So obviously we haven't put anything into this, this is just the blend components that make up these flavour notes. So when I was tasting and cupping and producing this, this is the sort of flavour profile that I was aiming for. Something quite sweet, something that's quite palatable to a generic market, but also works really well in espresso. And that was the main point of this coffee, for espresso, to work quite well with milk, especially with flat whites. So if you taste this, I'm getting caramel, spice and roast almond, but you might be getting raisin, you might be getting cocoa, you might be getting all sorts of different flavours, but they'll generally be in that sort of caramelised sugars, chocolatey, nutty sort of area. And again, on the other hand, you've got the El Salvador, the Finca Las Mercedes, where the first flavour note on that is candied lemon, because it is a very sweet coffee. However, there is some citric acidity in there, it's got that lemoniness, like just on the end, so it wasn't quite lemon as a flavour profile, because it wasn't that intense on the acidity of it, but it was like a candied lemon, where it's like, oh yeah, this is really sweet, but it's a little bit lemony, a little bit citrusy as well. It was like, yeah, that's a lovely flavour note, I'm happy with that. So yeah, when you're looking for coffees, go in with an idea of what sort of flavour profile you're after. Do you want a chocolatey coffee? Do you want a really sweet coffee? Do you want more something acidic? Do you want like red berries and fruitiness and stewed fruits? Or something tea-like, like a really delicate Ethiopian? And I think flavour notes can be really helpful, but again, something to remember, it is subjective. So if you're not tasting the flavour notes that are written on the bag of coffee, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody tastes differently. You know, I spend a lot of time cupping with other cuppers, and when I taste something, if you're cupping with a relatively new cupper, they would generally try and, I think it's just one of those human things where people try and be right. So they want to be right about what they're tasting. I'm like, no, I don't want you to copy what I'm tasting, because what I'm tasting is going to be different from what you're tasting. So yeah, flavour notes can be really useful, but don't take them as objective notes, like this is exactly the flavours that you're going to get, because the coffee isn't flavoured with anything. That's just the flavour of the coffee. And the more you taste coffees, and I recommend going out and looking at all the different flavour notes of different coffees and trying a bunch of them. See if you get the same flavour notes, see if you get different flavour notes. And if you do get different flavour notes, bloody tell the roaster. You know, the feedback's fantastic. If you've tasted any of our coffees and you get different flavour notes, any flavour note, I don't care what it is, I want to know. Leave some comments, send us an email, tweet me, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Because I love to know these things, I find it great. Also, great news, the new Kenyan has landed. If you've not seen, it is called Coquette, or Coquette, as it is being pronounced on social media. Which is great for marketing. But yeah, the Coquette is finally live online. It's already been going out wholesale, and it is super, super sweet. It's lovely. It's another pea berry, and again, I think I've talked about pea berries before and how much I love roasting them and tasting them, because I think they're stunning coffees, especially Kenyan pea berries. One of my favourite things. So that's finally live. The Coquette's washing station is in the Great Rift Valley in Kenya, so it's got some really great like volcanic soil that the coffees are growing in. I'm going to do a better video like talking all technicalities and tastings and everything on the Coquette at some point very soon. But just to get that out there, it's live and it's awesome, and I think that's it for this video. If you have any thoughts on flavour profiles, on flavours or anything like that, leave some comments. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you for the next one. Let's get brewing. Yeah, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this now. Like the head off what's it called? Art Attack. Do you remember Art Attack? Heart Attack. Art Attack when you were a kid and you were that weird talking head going like woo.
Have you ever seen me flying? Well, I use an aeroplane.